Well, all injustices back to sender, but this one is really funny. Remember when I talked about, please, the Freeze family, this is trigger. Um, when I talked about Petar de Vries when he was shot, okay? He was shot 5 times. It took him 9 days to die. And I said there's something more than the bullets and the gun that was involved in the death. It's a night chart. So that Saturn has structure. And he came from enemies to his work, which was the WHO. Anyway, I said what it's like, what is 50 Cent? Because I grew up on the culture and everybody knew the story for 50 Cent that he got shot I don't know how many times and he's still standing. Okay, if you listen to the song Many Men, okay, so many men wish death upon me. Anyway, I wake up to the weirdness of Ido Nevo. I guess he did not grow up on black music and black culture that surrounds that form as far as, people that are not from the original, let's say they're not black, okay? But the thing is, he tried to send a course for me that's related to being raped by a man who looks like 50 Cent. Like, really, I think even people who didn't grow up on black music, I think people that lived around like the 90s and were listening to the music, the story of 50 Cent was pretty familiar. Even people who didn't listen to rap at all, didn't know who 50 Cent was at all, they knew that the guy got shot. I don't remember how many times, and he's still standing. Okay. So you think about a person who gets shot 5 times, you think that's an immediate death, right? You don't think that's a nigga's dick, right? Ido Nevo? But it's not about racism. He also thought that about Royce. I guess he see a man, he thinks about his dick. That's okay. That's okay. But how about not to send rape courses to people? Because that puts you as a fucking rapist. And that's a fucking loser. I mean, the really it doesn't it doesn't take much, okay? Just let a woman be. She said no to you because she didn't even know what she said no to, right? And it has to do with political assassination. So you frame the father as, oh, he used to solve this case, solve that case, then he crossed over. No, he hasn't crossed over. He looked at the WHO and he saw that's the problem. Then you want off his son and you look at him as a dick made of gold while the guy was facing a taxes issue. But whatever, I mean, if you're a gold digger, maybe, I don't know, but he married. You want to talk about the fact that in entire kingdom of Orange, there's no lawyer that represents only sex offenses victims. Okay, it has nothing to do with the Freeze and Custom, other than the Freeze and Custom, which is one of these offices It's now the freeze in Spain. But if you're so much into 50 Cent, maybe, I don't know, write him an email. I can breathe. But in any case, I don't think that being raped, even if that would come true, that would yield to you anything, even monetarily. They're changing up the currency, you know. That's what you did with the moon sextile Saturn for today, because it's on my Lilith, so you keep trying to get me raped. Well, I keep trying to recover and say I dealt with almost 2 decades of that damn fuckery, and there was no naming for it. Nobody knew what you're talking about, unless it's some very esoteric community. So I share this information because the person who made that video about banishing traffickers, to people that are not astrological magicians that did talismans of moon and tell their customers to take something else with it to banish Regulian figures from sexually assaulting them. Idonevo. In the astral, okay? That's the work of Sphere and Sundry. Like, really, it doesn't take much. Just like, don't rape people. Made an entire beautiful video just for you with you got your face on it. If you find it difficult, you're gonna see your face on it. You click on that video and you see there's an entire reading. You got a free reading. What to do, where to turn to, not to rape people, right? See the difference between you listening to black music and me listening to black music is you be listening to black music and you see, I'm sorry, a ding, and me listening to black music and see a story. This is one of the stories I grew up on. 50 Cent got shot, I don't know how many times, and he's still alive. Okay? But it wasn't sitting for me on political assassination. And indeed, in high school, the free still don't. The guy is a little bit of a creep. Oh, God. Anyway, don't rape men either. Just disclaimer. Oh, God. Anyway, you see why we gotta believe the victims, because later they are. Edo was not born like this. Something created that. And I think that something is MK Ultra. But that's the thing. I grew up with everybody knew that was. It wasn't sitting on political assassination, because when I was in high school, had this dream that I was shot 7 times in the back, and it felt relieving. And it was a political assassination, I knew, but it felt relieving. And then when Peter died, and he was shot 5 times, and then I see it takes 9 days. Of course that did something to me. You see what I'm doing? Of course, the word political assassination is not something that is a strange thing to me, or something that I didn't think could happen to me. Like, you tried to assassinate me way too many times, right? Fuck. Because I said no. And for my concern, I didn't see you as an unattractive man, but I said no to you because I cannot even consider you when you're both married and my post, and later you began to act really funny. So I said I want out. I didn't understand that I'm saying no to a person that tried to recruit me to sex trafficking, to assassinate a guy that I didn't even know. And definitely was the only guy that spoke against the WHO there. Fuck. You don't have a reason to be invested in that. I think we set on that, okay? You would get the same olanzapine and electrodes. It's not a big FOMO. When you think about political assassination, I grew up, and I remember Rabin, okay? So he got shot 3 times in the back, three for the power of three of the dumb fuckery. A cult. It's not a cult, it is an inversion on a cult. That's the thing. Then he didn't even reach the hospital when he died. So I knew that something like that is a horrible betrayal, but you begin to prepare yourself, so that's what you prepare yourself. Then when I heard about, when I saw Peter, and I look at the chart, and I look at the chart, and I say, it's not the chart of a death of a person. Let's see what's happening. And I saw there's 2 days: the day of the shooting, that's July 6th, and the day of the death, that's 15 July. 2-3 years later, I would look at the Hans Amendment case. It took me 2-3 years to begin to look at misdaadverslaggever, at the actual cold cases. And that 9 days was sitting on my chest for 3 years. I think it took me a year, at least a year or two, to look at the chart for Peter after I came back from the Netherlands. Came back. So that's the story of 50 Cent for you. Everybody knows that, okay? You think Royce and Kelly didn't grow up on those stories? They did. They know that. They know that when I say 50 Cent, they know exactly what I'm talking about. He got shot. Fuck. I don't know how many times, and he's still standing, okay? That's the thing. Don't send rape to people. Don't send rape to people. You will be fine, okay? Even the death is sweetened when you don't rape people, okay? Don't put me in a position where I have to defend myself from you over nothing, really. What's that? And what intense assault? Like what the fuck? Could you let 50 Cent be? Okay, so all that injustice goes back to sender. Can cancel it out. That's what the guy had to do. Moon in Capricorn on my Jupiter. Sextile in Saturn. That's what the guy had to do. He tries to look for something. It was like 50 Cent. Good. Mind you, he don't avoid some Polish guy. It's given Delano. It's given Delano, yes.